Hi students, in this lecture I'm going to go over Essay 1. I'm also going to go over some resources that are on Canvas in case you need them. So let's go ahead and look at the Canvas shell. Okay, so Essay 1, the prompt is right here. And basically what I want you to focus on is any of the poems from Shakespeare to Ginsberg. So I would not write a paper on Frost or any of the ones we read in the beginning. Basically William Shakespeare, Emily Dickinson, T.S. Eliot, or Allen Ginsberg. So those are the four that I would like you to focus on. You can compare one poem against the other. Like you could compare Howl to The Wasteland. You could just talk about Howl in itself or The Wasteland, or you could talk about Shakespeare, his series of poems that we read, but it must be one that was assigned in class. It can't be something outside, okay? So just make sure that that is something that you're doing. It is a 3 to 5 page essay, 3 meaning minimum. So you can just turn in 3 pages and that's more than adequate, but no less than 3, no more than 5. Okay, and the big thing is making sure that you're really arguing about how the author uses devices to create meaning. So for example, you could talk about how in The Wasteland, biblical references are repeated throughout in order to convey a meaning, right? Or how even in Howl, repetition is used to convey a feeling or a meaning, right? So you're really going to be focusing on the how, right? And feel free to go back throughout the modules and look at some of our lectures on literary devices and even the lectures I've done on the poems to help give you some ideas. As always, your thesis statement should be an opinion as well as all of your topic sentences. So say that you're going to be talking about how T.S. Eliot uses biblical references to convey meaning in The Wasteland. So maybe each paragraph would be about a different reference from the Bible and really like discussing it using the poem and dissecting it, okay? So not just summarizing, definitely not summarizing, more of like discussion and analysis, okay? You can use anything from your responses, your quizzes, your notes, anything. Anything is free game. You can use the exact same wording. You can just copy and paste it from your discussion into your essay. Totally fine with me. It's kind of part of the process. Do not use any outside sources. I really want it to be your opinion. Now, if you want to cite things like the Bible or whatever, let me know. You're going to have to cite that properly. But you're also going to need a works cited page. So I'm going to show you in a minute where to find information on that. And then there are some other resources here. Here's all the due dates. Your outlines are going to be due. I'm going to give you feedback on those, and then you're going to peer review so you can review each other, and then the essay will be due next week. All right, so going back. So there's a bunch of different resources like how to write a thesis statement, pie paragraphs, quote sandwiches. These are not required. It's just if you want to look at them, you can. As far as the essay outline, which is right here, this is going to be the thing that you're going to submit that I'm going to be able to give you guys feedback on. So once I read them, I'll give you feedback on, all the elements. You do want to have a complete introduction in which you introduce the text as well as the author. Make sure that the title is in quotation marks, right? Because it's poetry, and the author's full name. So not just Shakespeare, but William Shakespeare, okay? Give some background and history, like you can talk about, all the lectures on World War I, World War II, like all of the historical background behind it. If you're talking about sonnets, you might want to talk about the history of the sonnet. That would be a good thing to talk about here in the form. And then your thesis statement would be the last sentence of your intro. And then for your outline, it's really bare bones. You want to have complete sentences for your topic sentences so I can give you feedback, but your analysis and evidence can be bullet points. Okay, so really bare bones. Going back. While you're working on your thesis statements, I did post some class notes in which students had written their thesis statements on the board and were workshopped. And hopefully this gives you guys some ideas of what I'm looking for as far as a thesis statement. So feel free to look at these. And again, if you want to use one, that's totally okay too, because just because your thesis is the same doesn't mean your whole paper is going to be the same. So it's totally fair game. All right, so I'm going to do a separate video on peer review and that process just to help you guys out. And if you have any questions, please do let me know.